guys, and welcome back to McCallum Productions, episode 10 today. We're joined by the best looking person to ever be on the channel. I'm also joined by Dylan Ramage and you, McCallum. How are we doing, boys?
Not too bad, how's yourself?
It's good, not too bad, not too bad. So, we're assuming most people watching and listening will know who you are, but for the people that don't know who you are, do you want to give yourself a wee sort of introduction?
Well, as you said, I'm Dylan. Known the boys for just a short while, an hour. From a wee place called Stonehouse, so shout out to the boys. Wee area, it's not really known, but it is home. And of course, I'm sure that I'll speak more throughout this, but I'll not give too much away. I'll let you get into the meaty stuff. So
get the watch time up.
Definitely, aye.
Telepathic.
Drag it out.
But so just getting started. Obviously, most people, I'm assuming, will know you from your TikToks.
That's the thing as well. Like, I didn't even follow you, and you're coming up. Like,
that's when you know you've made it.
That's when you know.
Your For You page must be stinking.
Just maxing going, fucking going for it all.
Oh mate, that was the thing. People come up to me like, I don't even follow you. I was like, thanks. Like, thank you. Mate. Just a kick in the teeth. It's a backhanded compliment. But,
so just getting started with that, what was like your sort of first introduction to getting involved with sort of social media game?
If I'm completely honest, mate, I was like, fuck that. Get that away. That was a bit.
That was my first look at TikTok.
Same, mate, honestly, I remember seeing it, and I'd seen all like the Noah Beck and all that. I was like, what are they doing? But then I started learning. I was like, do you know what? These folk are just having fun. So I'll do stuff that people don't agree with. I'm going to give it a pop. So I think it was about a year now. I downloaded it in March. But the first video I was ever on was we had a Christmas Ceilidh with a school, and there was this trend, and the lasses were doing it, and you do all this, and then you jump in their dress. I was like, you mind that? I was like, get me in that now, man. I jumped in my suit on, all looking at it, all my mates were like, fuck you doing? Little do they know. No, that's what I do. So it was in March last year. It was the first time I started making videos. And then this young girl, she still messages me trying to take credit for the whole thing. She made a video or a slideshow, all these photos of me, and she's like, how is he not famous? Cheers to whoever you are.
I don't follow you, but
I don't know your name. But
I'm not being rude, I'm actually just checking your TikTok.
Don't worry, mate.
The numbers on this are mental. So you've got
highest on the channel for sure, probably
112,000 followers on TikTok.
Far off as well,
just shy of 4 million likes as well. How does that feel, mate? That's mental.
It's I'll sit and look at it, and I try and be as humble as I can. Like, so when people talk about it, I'm just kind of like, there's people say they're determined influence on that. I'm like, nah, just Dylan. Like, I'm just Harry. No, I like to just kind of keep humble with it, because you know, it is, as you say, stats and facts, but it's getting me to a place that I want to be. But it's cool, do you know? And just see what I done actually was I went in the numbers and then went in populations. I'll get more followers in this country. And it's quite cool just to see, like, especially just being for a small wee place. Where the most that goes on is going down the trunk, down the park and getting on it, and then so there's 3 point whatever it is.
3.7 million likes or something.
I wasn't going to say it, but, but no, mate, it's funny, and then it's like trying to explain it to my gran. Doesn't understand it, but it's a real laugh.
Majority of Scotland seen this on my gran.
That's the thing.
So you were saying about like when you first got TikTok and that, you were kind of a bit sort of abrasive. You were kind of no taking it with both hands. So what is your sort of general opinion of TikTok then?
See, now I think it's one of the that's possibly the craziest social media platform there is right now. Because look, like in a space of a year, I've grown like that. I know people who have got up to 100k in a week. It's a place that, see, if you've just got something about you, you can make it. So look at the likes of Charlie D'Amelio, girl younger than myself, and she's sitting with like over 100 million. That's her life sorted just for dancing. I think it's crazy. Like, I don't doubt, like, obviously at the start I did kind of doubt, like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get a slagging, but that's like a main thing that I've worked on myself, is who cares? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what a message through my TikTok I try and spread to young kids and people our age anyway, just do what you want. So that was definitely why I'd done it, because it was like, you see, like, as Max actually brought it up with the whole, how, like, I'm very proud to be Scottish, but the toxic side to it.
Yeah.
Just try to break out of that, and that was like one of the main reasons I kept going with it. Because when I first started getting it, my mates were like, "You need to stop that." I was like, "Nah, man."
Mate, it's like the same with the podcast. Like as soon as you start it, it's just like you go through it, and then your mates are like, "What are you doing? Like, you're not gonna be Joe Rogan." Why even?
At the end of it, but your pals. The ones that will slag you to your face are the ones that will always back you up with it. So
exactly, mate.
That's the one thing I realised with my mates, like one of my best pals, Kyle. He'll always say, he's like, "Mate, you're daft for it," but he's like, "But I respect what you're doing." So that's what you know is like that recognition, knowing that my mates are actually like being there. It's brilliant, So
would you say that, regardless of getting the odd slagging here and there, that they all are?
100%, mate. Yeah, they definitely know, because I'll sit and chat about it. We'll never bring it up as much, but we'll sit and chat and laugh about it. Like, that's mad, look, that bird's just made this video, and you're like, it's quite funny, innit? Yeah. We'll sit there like, and they're like, still a bit daft, mate. No, they definitely do. Like, it has shown who my pals are, because there's quite a lot of folk that I've never spoke to, and they message me. Yeah. I'm like, what? But then, like, my mates
try
and
to
stuff.
be pally, going through, seeing numbers.
Not the best image, but
yeah. So you're saying there? Oh, sorry, on you go.
No, sorry, I was saying aye to that.
Oh, sorry. No, so obviously you're saying there about like sort of trying to have a sort of positive outlook and encouraging people to do the same on TikTok. Yeah. That's obviously a thing you do as well with your positive messages. What was it that sort of brought you on to do that then?
Before I started all that, I'd done a lot to do with mental health advocacy and stuff like that in school. I'd done a lot of courses, because in school I kind of just fucked about, but I wasn't that bad. Like I was the first years of my school. What a wee dick. Like that was just. I
think everyone's like that. You're just
you're going through it.
Definitely. And then I remember when it gets to the point where you're applying for college and uni, and you're like, what am I meant to do in my life? I applied for a personal training course because I liked sports, but I was like, I'm going to hate this. And one of my teachers, who had a big impact in my school years, was Miss Collins, and she was like, you're really good at speaking to people, and you're good with helping young kids and stuff like that, because I'd done a lot of stuff with the additional support in these kids. So I remember on a Friday I would go and take the ASN class, the kids with the learning difficulties, and I'd take them for PE, and I wouldn't even think about doing it. That was just my thing. And the mental health, I'd done a course. What was that called? Let's not get and talk about it. I forgot what it's called. It was a mental health first aid, and that was it. And like I was doing it with other teachers and stuff, and it was a brilliant opportunity to kind of grow my knowledge on something that's arguably one of the most important things our generation I'd see. So when I got a platform, I was like, I don't want to use it for look at me, look at this, that. I'll do that sometimes, it fair dues, but when I realised that people are listening to me, see these messages that aren't shown across as much, like what I think is, if you can make something a trend, like speaking about mental health, make it a trend, make it cool, young kids are going to do that. So the first video I'd made about it was at Christmas time, and it was talking about how people maybe don't have anyone there at Christmas, and sometimes like the festive times,
especially that one there,
it's horrible, mate. That's the main reason I did it, because I know the festive times people hate it. I myself, I'm an absolute scudge. I hate it. Like there's just something about it. I just don't know. I love seeing my family, but see just the whole all that. It's not my thing. But I know that a lot of people struggle at Christmas time, so I put that video up and it blew up. But see that blow up, I didn't care about it getting numbers. I just liked that I knew that I was helping people, because I actually said in the video, if you've got no one to talk to, give me a message. And it was hard going, because I opened my message requests and I let them all just pour through, and there's hundreds, like so many, and try to get through them all and try to like reply to them. Like some of the stuff people were saying it's sad to hear, but also good to know that they've let that out. So
they're comfortable saying that to you.
I think that's half the battle sometimes, though, is just actually speaking about it.
That's the main thing, was like, sometimes you don't want to speak to your mates, you don't want to speak to your mum and dad, get a bit awkward. So see if you just speak to somebody you've never met. It sounds ridiculous because you don't know them, but
could be an eye opener.
Definitely, man. So it shows them that there's someone there. So that's like mainly why I do it, and I do a lot with the. As I dipped into there, like the toxicity. I can never say that word, man. You know what I'm trying to say. You catch my drift. The toxic
get a wee
part.
Subtitle on the bottom.
just you better do that. The toxic side of kind of like the toxic masculinity side and stuff like that, I try and dip into that a lot. Try to educate like boys my age, boys younger, about like mistreatment of women and stuff like that, and you don't need to man up, all that stuff as well. Like some boys will turn around and be like, oh, shut up, mate. But some actually do listen. I've had a few boys comment, and they're like, oh, I've never really thought about it that way, and like that helps. That's a good feeling, because you're like, oh, they're actually listening to me. So That's another thing, but some folk are like, I just try to get about the birds. Like, nah, that's the whole point that I'm trying to get across here. It's not about that.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
But yeah, definitely.
Because I think, especially like when you're doing it on TikTok or whatever else, like you do have to find that fine balance where you're not taking the piss and you're not doing it for like lasses or whatever else.
It is educational, but it's not proper like hammering it down. It's like having a conversation with it. So
you know you're taking the piss if you're doing it in and out like fucking every single video. That's when you know it's fucking wrong.
So it's like the odd one here and there, but yeah, it's kind of, as you said, give that balance, because there's obviously like, I'll do a different balance on my stuff. But having just one of them pop up now and then just reassures people. So
I think that's like the good thing about it, because like obviously it is not spoken about enough, like mental health and stuff like that. But the fact that you are just occasionally, if you just see it on your time on your feed or whatever, and then you're just going through it, and then that's what you say. It
sparks the conversation sometimes, or the thought process. So obviously that's you've said how important it is, and obviously we both agree there needs to be sort of more advocates for mental health. So would you say there's sort of something that spurred you on yourself to want to help other people? Or
definitely. See, myself growing up, I've been the new boy 6 times or something. I was born in Dundee, moved to Bathgate, then it was Ayr, Troon, East Kilbride, now Stonehouse. So see all these places that I've lived growing up. So I give a lot to I owe a lot to my parents, so they were young parents. And see, just watching like the way that they've treated me and my younger brothers, of like us coming from up and going up the way. So like I've been in situations where I've not had a lot and all that, and see the thought of other people feeling like that, don't want that to happen. So I remember, this is like one of the first, like me and my dad talk about it all the time. I remember we used to go into Asda and see the juice bit. We used to fucking fill it up. 11p, I still do it now because that's what I knew. And see, growing up, but see the one thing that my dad always done was he made sure we were happy doing like things. So like I remember we'd always go like swimming like once a month or something. That was like a big thing we get buzzing about. But see, like kids now, I don't want to go swimming. Dad, shut up. That like kind of hurts. But see, knowing that there is still kids out there that see stuff like that, like oh wow, like really buzzing about the small things. Knowing that I've went through like getting the small things and now working my way up, like I give a lot to my dad. Like he's kind of, it doesn't, you'll not really think of this, but see, just seeing his work rate and like how much he's done for his family and stuff like that, it kind of stirs me on. As much as he doesn't think it, as much as I will lie in my bed till noon and he'll be up at 6:30 climbing up a Monroe or something. There is a difference there, but I learn a lot from him, and see like stuff like that. Just growing up and being treated well, I kind of want to do that to other people. Do you know what I mean? So. Don't get me wrong, my mum's a sound cutter, but
I think it's just like when, especially if you're like a young lad and that, you always look up to your dad, like as anything, like, and I feel for people that might not have had that.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's just a big thing, part of your life, especially if you are close with them.
Yeah, that's what, like a lot of my lessons I've learned about. Like my dad's made me the man I am today. And as you said, like young kids that maybe don't have that, see if you can do that, if you can influence people's minds, and it's a beautiful feeling. So definitely. And then also with the mental health stuff is like being able to show to people that it's not all sunshine and daisies. Like I myself, I've struggled a lot. Like last year was shocking. It was for a lot of people. And I made sure that people knew that. Not as in a like, look at me, like, oh, feel bad for me. Not as in a like a, look, I go through this, you go through this, we're all in it together. So that was one of the main things as well, is being able to show. I made a video, I think it was 3 weeks ago or something. I hadn't cleaned my room since September. And it was oh my god, mate. It was a crack den. So I can explain it. There was like 12 like, empty bottles everywhere. There's just shite. Right? And I mean, I took a video before and after. I was like, if I can do it, you can do it. So. But
sometimes it is those like wee small battles.
Tiny little things.
I struggle with so much.
For sure.
Yeah. Like if people go, you're just a lazy bastard. Sometimes it's not that, but do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I know, I think that's always like overlooked a wee bit. Like you just get, you're a lazy cunt, but like,
just clean your room, mate. Just clean your room.
It's the mindset, isn't it? It's the mindset.
It's not even things like clean your room. It's like just like wee tiny things. If it's like brushing your hair or doing whatever. Like
it's getting out of bed and stuff like that as well. Like so that was the main thing. Was I was sleeping in last year. I'm sure these are the same. Getting on it on Zoom calls till 6 o'clock in the morning.
Know about that,
hearing my dad, hearing my dad getting up to go and work from home, and I'm sitting there like that, fuck to a bottle, like, oh my god. And then waking up at 5 o'clock at night and everybody was in the same cycle, and we just thought it was a normality. It was nuts, man. Like,
it was the craziest.
People, I know a few folk still do that. I mean, just chill a wee bit.
I know.
It was a scary time because I didn't know, like, no one knew how they were, their own feelings, never mind everyone else's. So it was important to try and spread that message through it. So
for sure, man.
But sort of during the first lockdown as well, it was you done stuff with Kick Mental Health, yeah.
Aye.
So
Kick Mental Health was more. Well, that was more recent, but.
Oh, right, sorry.
Aye, Kick Mental Health was good as well because I'd spoke to them quite a lot and I'd seen quite a lot of the movements with my mate like Joshua and stuff like that. And then shout out to Joshua. Yeah. But when he asked me, the boy asked me to come on, he said, "Do you want to come and do a wee set?" I was like, "Sound," because obviously I'd done a wee bit of music before that, but see, because that was for like mental health and stuff like that, I also gave a wee talk before it. And I was like just talking about, you know, these times are hard, you know, look after your loved ones, this and that, and then here's a few tunes. But no, that was a good experience as well, definitely.
So would you say sort of the music side of things is something you want to explore further as well then?
It's one of the ones, obviously, it's 2 years now since I got my guitar, and I never sang until last February, and never thought I could, never done it, and then I meant to put up a video. It was Candy by Palanutini. That's give me a guitar, I'll play that, right? Give me a guitar, that's the one song I'll go to. And I meant to put it up on Twitter, just a bit of battle, and it fucking blew up, man. That was the first thing before TikTok. It was Dylan Ramage with Twitter, all that. All the fucking mind that was the platform before TikTok, and then
change game now.
Yeah, definitely. I don't even use Twitter.
Rightly so.
It's a toxic. It's a war zone. But
it's a weird one. It's a weird one.
I mean, I put that up, and my mates were like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "What?" And like, you sing? I was like, "No, I don't." Like, every day, look at this. I'm sitting there looking at all these numbers, going, "Oh shit!" But I kind of didn't think it like that. And then my mates were like, "No, you need to start doing this." And I was doing music at school, and I was meant to be doing guitar and bass. And I was that guy in school. If I didn't like something, I just sat there and it was just a wee knob about it, and I was like, "I'm not doing bass." She was like, "Right, whatever." Then she saw that video. She's like, "You're singing in your exam." I was like, "What?" Like, what? She's like, "You're singing in your exam, passed it." And I was like, "Happy days." And then I kept going on for there, just putting me videos out. And then, of course, big credits to a good mate of mine, Liam Hanna. Of course, when he arranged with his podcast, Get On With Podcast, where the Sam's Night. There's me promoting another podcast. I'm sorry.
The collab's coming.
He's paid me a bottle of wine for that. But no, obviously I had the Sam's Night, which was an amazing opportunity for myself because, the likes of the Snuts, a band that I've seen 5 times, Lewis Capaldi, Retro Video Club.
Big names.
Big names. And then we Dylan. And like folk like, who's this guy? Yeah, that was the funniest thing was when it was actually on, all these people tweeting like, who the fuck is that? And I'd been that nervous when I said my name. I was like, what's happening to Dylan Ramage? Right? I just like, what's that boy's name?
Fast forward, like.
Oh, it was, man. It was rapid. But people were like messaging, just hearing like nice words made me think maybe I can take this somewhere. So it is an idea, but right now time's just a bit crazy.
Difficult to get into
working and doing everything else. It's kind of hard to. Obviously, studio times. It's not cheap. It's not accessible as much now. So maybe for something in the future when I've settled down a bit. But right now I'm just. I wrote another tune last night. Just kind of writing about. But it's no something.
It's constant.
Yeah, it's not like tunnel vision right now for that. If it was, then that's what I'd be working towards. But it's more a hobby right now. But.
Would you say like when you put your mind to one thing, are you like certain on that, or do you like spreading it out a bit and kind of venturing?
No, mate, I'm a tree.
Aye.
I am a tree. I played football for 9 years of my life, and it got to the point where I'd been doing well with that. But see, after it, I was like, I need to do something else now. Went to MMA, done that for a bit, done the same thing, and I'll focus on one thing, but my head just goes. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a good thing, but I wouldn't say it's a bad thing, but it keeps my doors open.
Aye.
So, as you said,
advantages, disadvantages, eh?
Big respect to people that can just do that. But
I
mean, I go, do you know what I mean? Like, so you never focus on the one thing, but see what happens. That's my thing. See what happens.
So, what would you say your sort of first memory was of music then? Even if it was like wasn't playing, or if it was listening, or seeing a band or whatever. What?
The first, growing up music, I'm so happy I have my dad. Because I would have a shite music to I remember the one memory I've always got is I fucking forgot the name of the song though. That girl's tune. fucking hell, man, I forgot it. But anyway, it was that one. I'll come back to me when I don't need to know it. But I remember we used to always sit in the motor. My dad would like sing one verse, then I would do it. That was like proper like cheesy American film shit. She's gonna probably hate me for saying it, but I meant this stuff like that. And my dad loves AC/DC. Like she'd grown up just listening to that, and like just branching me bits. You know, big influence from my uncle as well. He got my guitar for me. Big influence from my grandpa. Like that's the first song I ever wrote was about his passing. And see, just little bits of music. And my mum and dad, well, I always hated them for it, but they were obviously just protecting me and keeping me away from being a wee dafty. I wasn't allowed to a gig until Transmit 2018. So I was 15, I think. And the first act I ever saw was like my favourite band I knew. It was the Snuts at King Tut stage, and I bust my lip open. I was going nuts, man. And that's when I knew straight away. I was like, I love music. So doing that, and then I remember the next day I woke up rough as fuck, man. I was like 12 missed calls from my mate. I was like, oh my god, what have I done? He's like, so the Arctic Monkeys were playing the Sunday. Didn't have a ticket. He's like, what, comes to the Monkeys? I was like, I'm skint, mate. I got 15 quid to my name. He's like, no, for free. Up, please on, come on. And that was that.
You'd say no to that.
Mate. That was a crazy gig, man. That was wild. I thought I was going to die, but yeah. And then
a few gigs there.
not been too many gigs since then, but. It's a major thing in my life, you know, like I'm missing gigs a lot. I'm sure you're the same.
Yeah, for sure, mate. For sure.
I'm properly missing gigs, like just seeing it come up in your Snapchat memories. Like, oh, fuck off.
Right.
Just leave me alone, man. Do you know what I mean?
It's a kick in the teeth as well.
It is, mate. It's a major kick in the teeth. But
it's mad.
So would you say that sort of the live streams and the wee snippets of stuff you've done is like you'll continue to do as if you're doing it as if like a hobby? Would you?
No, definitely. It's when I can. I'm really thinking of going and doing wee pub nights, stuff like that, and then eventually when I get time I'll release music. I don't want to give too much away, but I do have I've got a solid amount sitting there that I could conjure up something. I can get help from other people. That is something in my eyes, is to release music, so just kind of taking it. I'd rather take my time than rush it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I was to rush it, put a tune out 2 weeks later, I'm like, I fucking hate that. I can't exactly just delete it like a photo on Instagram.
Exactly.
But that's the thing, you want to sort of perfect your craft. I don't know how daft it sounds.
It's all about it, Duffy.
You want to be happy with it. Like at the end of the day, you'll probably be sick to death by the time you've like.
You'll end up hating your own tune, but
but like, as long as you're happy to put it out there, that's the main thing. Like you didn't want to be rushing anything.
So here, like, you grow of age as well. Say like, I don't know if you're the same with music you brought out in the past, but you obviously like it when you first bring it out, and it's you're all for it. Come back to it a year later, you're like, what the fuck? Like,
you don't need to release the first thing you record though as well. Like it's a lengthy process, I suppose. But would you say you're like that with everything else with your TikTok? That you're making sure that it's.
I'm so bad for it. Like honestly, mate, see, like obviously, like doing TikTok and Instagram and stuff. I will analyse something for about 20 minutes before I post it. Like I'll sit there, I'm like that. Nah, that bit of hell's sticking out, man. Do it again. The videos of the guitar itself. See if I like slightly hit the wrong string, I will stop the whole thing. That's the live stream for. I just made a rhyme there. That live stream for Sam's night. One of the songs I done was "Love's Run Out" by Circa Waves, and that was the third song out my four song set. Third song, that's the song that I mess up, and I was like, nah. So the first 2 songs were sound. The last one was sound. They had to like try and edit it right. So like I was like, I'm sorry boys, but you're I'm doing it again. Done the third one, but I'm proper. It's a bad trait, but I like to get things spot on, but especially with MMA, I had to make sure that because day one thing you're getting jabbed in the puss.
Exactly. Mate, it's a good comparison actually.
100%. Because I remember when I first started training, I'd been out of martial arts for a while because I'd done karate a lot when I was younger, and that was kind of like I had the basics, you know, in muscle memory. I mean, obviously, when I started MMA, it was more Muay Thai. That's so much different too. And I'm sitting there ready to like throw a nice wee kick, and guys, boom, rattled me right in the face. I'm like, whoa, what? You know what I mean? So then I learned I'm going to perfect this. So it's a good thing to do, but sometimes it annoys folk. So
obviously, you're a bit of a perfectionist. Obviously, your Instagram has now become the image of perfection.
That's blood, sweat, and tears into photos. But yeah, that's something that right now is helping me a lot. I'm more focusing on that than TikTok, if I'm honest, because I know it's getting me places like say on my feed. If you go through it, there's maybe one outfit that's not from ASOS, right? And I've tagged they fuckers countless of times, and then they finally emailed like, my management like, we want to send Dylan clothes. And I was in work at the time. I put my phone. can't say I was on my phone.
You're on your break checking your phone.
On a break, right? I was on a break, and I was like, oh yeah, fuck her. I was like, because a couple of weeks before they'd actually reposted one of my photos, and that was a buzzing thing. I was putting the family chat, like, chick whisper, but then they actually said, oh, we want to send them a few outfits, and I was like, what? Obviously, I'd been working for it, but I didn't expect it to happen, and I was fucking nuts, man. And the weekend before that, Shoe, that funny shop that no one knows how to say, but
there's one in Dunfermline, man.
There's one in Dunfermline.
So there's a Shoe, but they sent me a pair of Docs. I was like, I cannot be grumble, man. So it's buzzing because it's things that are like I'm doing, I'm having fun with it, and as I said at the start, remaining humble. So like, I'm getting all this stuff, but I'm not acting like a dick about it.
Aye.
Just, I don't agree with that stuff, like getting numbers and forgetting your roots. Do you know, and like as I says, like I'll always mention the boys of Stonehouse. Do you know what I mean? That's my guys. Do you know what I mean? So, but seeing that, man, it was like that was another thing I said to like my mates are always there. I was in with my mates, my man Grant. We were in the motor and we're driving to Starbucks. We are the basic white girls, we latte. Aye, we're in the motor and he's like, mate, that's actual nuts. That's crazy. That just like hearing the recognition of my mates find it is nuts because I'm not going about like saying, oh, look at me, I'm doing this. And that people are recognising like, oh, he's actually being sound about it. So it is buzzing to see. Because if you look at my Instagram, if you don't know me, you'll look like, oh, fucking hell, he's actually trying like dead hard with this stuff. Yeah. But then seeing reality, I'm just fucking about with it. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm keeping that kind of focus to, it sounds nuts. It literally is just uploading photos, but I know it's getting me to places where I need. So
because you never know who's going to see it though, that's the thing.
Exactly, mate, that's the thing.
That's a few times ASOS have shared your post.
Twice now. So ASOS Man, they've got, I think it's nearly 300k. Then actually ASOS, they've got 11.2 million followers. And they put my photo up and I was sitting there, I was like, that's not me. That's not me. But
fake account.
That's not me, man. That's nuts. Like just stuff like that. It's crazy. Like when I'm sitting there, maybe he'd sit on at work. Like, hi there. thank you for calling. You're through to Dylan. Do you know I was on ASOS? So I mean, mate, it's a real laugh. It's crazy just seeing it. But hopefully it only goes up for you. I think the only thing that could fuck it up is if I do something really bad. But I don't see myself doing. But hopefully not.
That's like the best comparison. Like I kind of like look at that. Like you're obviously saying that about like you're on your phone and then you look at it and it's like that's not me like going through it. It's like the best way I can compare to that is like we've had the boys from Dancing on Tables on. They're playing the Hydro like one night, supporting Catfish in the bottom end, and then fucking Callum went to work the next day working in Edinburgh. It's like just at a cafe.
Back to reality.
But that's the thing is like see out. Sorry, mate.
No, I was just saying mental.
So I was like yesterday getting photos and stuff, and see like I try and drag out as much as I can because I know that when the last photo he's taking, back to work Monday. Yeah. So I mean, it's I know that working there, I'm getting my money sorted. I'm getting that so I can actually build my way up. But getting back to reality is just kick the balls, man. Hopefully one day my reality can actually be that. Do you know what I mean?
So you've told me this story already. We had a wee FaceTime the other week, but. How did you first get into modelling?
I've got no clue.
That's the get your popcorn. Basically, I've got a good friend, Lennon, and his big sister, Danny. Shout out to the both of them, the Parks. Basically, Danny, she's just like shoot director and stuff like that, and her boyfriend Kyle's a photographer, and they're, involved in a brand called Devosi, which I don't know if you know the DJ Fraser. He owns that brand, and Danny always said that when we were out with Lennon, like I used to wind Lennon up about it because she'd say, "Oh, he's a handsome boy, this, that," and she'd said to Fraser and stuff like that, and the photographers like, "Oh, we should try and get him in for a shoot." And she didn't say that to me. She told me this after how I met them. And I was at one of my mates' dad's 50th in Fir Park Stadium in Motherwell.
Oh, right.
And I decided, when I have a drink in me, I love to just fuck off and do whatever.
Disappear.
Like my mate's like, where is he? Oh, he's sound, he's all there. Like, just leave him. But this time I actually went out to go to the pub across the road instead of staying in. And leather, absolutely leather. And Danny comes out and she's like, oh my God, hi Dylan. And I'm like, right. And she's like, oh, wait here. Goes in and gets the full team from Avosi, the Fraser, her boyfriend Kyle, Aaron, the photographers, all that. This is the boy I've seen we should get for a shoot, and I'm sitting there with like half a pint that I've took at the stadium. Like, I'll do a shoot for you. And then they're like, yeah, cool, we'll give you a message. Just I'm sitting there, like, just think they're talking shit. And then I woke up the next day rough. I was toast. Like, I mean, I was sitting there, like, sitting in my bed, like...
Can relate to
The
that
fear.
now.
The definition.
Of course, happy belated birthday.
You do.
But, so I was sitting there and my message pings up, so that way when you're rough, you don't want to hear any noises, and that ping, you're like, fuck off. Thinking it's my dad telling me to come down the stairs because I've came in and waited or something, right? I was sitting there like that. It's like, hi Dylan, I spoke to you last night, and I was like, shit. That message,
Did I say?
I was like, oh my god, who, what have I done? How much money do I owe to somebody if I broke something? And he's like, I would like to, talk to you about getting you in for a shoot. Are you available for a phone call anytime soon? And I'm sitting there like dry mouth, like, I can't phone him, do they? And got me in for a shoot. And it was the week before my 16th birthday, 17th birthday.
One of them.
A birthday. That was last year then, so before my 17th, and they got me in. It was in the SW3. I've been there for a few gigs, and that was my first shoot, which was like about a year ago, and it was mad. See, when I'd done that, I was like, I want to do this like for the rest of my life. Like, this is so fun. Then back to reality, went to school, and then all my mates were like, look at you, fucking all that. And I was sitting there with the free clubber they gave me, and like, just walking about. It was fun. Like, I didn't think it would be that fun, just getting photos. Loved it. But that's how I got into modelling, was get absolutely fucking plastered. So when you're told not to drink, that's a bad example. Nah, I'm playing, but sometimes you just need to be in the right place at the right time. No.
At the right place at the right time.
What he said.
I know what you mean.
Someone will know what I mean. Bye.
So like you're saying, your pals give you a ripping for your TikToks and all that, but how supportive were they with that then?
My pals, I've learnt a lot from my friends, like specific friends I've learnt specific things from. Like, so like, as I said, like my best mate Kyle, like, he's possibly the most loyal guy I've ever met in my life. Like, he's been my like best friend through everything. Then my other boy JJ, as I said, the boy that's coming up with the rapping and stuff, nutter. Me and him are going to start YouTube up the start of next year. Like, we've got the goals to go on, and we like drive each other. Do you like see when you've got mates that drive you? And then, as I said, like Grant and all the boys, I'm giving them all wee personal wee shout outs. I can't be asked listening to all your names, but you're all good guys. But they're like, sometimes they don't understand it, they don't agree with what I'm putting up, but they'll always agree with me, not specifically like, oh, you doing that video, mate. Like, but it's always, I know that they're always there. Like, as the saying goes, the ones who slag you to your face, the ones that have got your back the most. So it definitely has shown throughout all this. So brilliant. Same as like my dad, like, he doesn't understand it, but I know he's proud, but he doesn't understand. I've got this wee bag, right? This wee bag, I don't know if you've ever seen it. It looks like a handbag. He came in yesterday. He was like, I need to get a seat. He sat down. He was like sitting there, heavy breathing like that. What are you doing? Like, you stole a bird's handbag. But at the end of the day, it's always kind of like, that was another thing. Was there was one weekend, none of my mates could come out and get photos. And I said to my dad, I'm sitting there like hesitating, like, mind that way when you broke something, you have to go and tell your dad, like, I broke that. I was sitting there edging for that. Can you come and take photos of me, Dad? He's like, what? Well, he done it. Right? It was funny because that just kind of shows me that he's always going to support it, but he doesn't understand it. But same as some of my mates, they are all there. I know that. So they're good guys.
But at the end of the day, if that's what you want to do, then it's key having photos.
That's definitely, like, as I said earlier, like, me and Kyle were talking about it. It's like, he's got a job, I've got a job. We're working dead hard to get to a place that we want. Yesterday, my dad doesn't agree with this as well. I'd worked, had money sitting, I decided just to buy a new phone. Half my wages gone. And see, just the little things, like knowing that I've worked hard for that and I bought something, like, that's crazy. I was talking that to my mates, I was like, it's nuts. Like, you can see yourself slowly moving up in the world. Just a phone, but it's your first step next to a motor, next to a house. You know, I mean, like, just knowing that you're in the right process. But I need to stop overly spending money on clothes, but still in the hang, man.
So I'll keep sending it free clothes.
So
Brand deal's got you sorted.
Adverts along. You can get adverts with these guys. Send you some clobber.
Next episode we got ASOS.
I see, like, there you go. Champion support.
But obviously we're saying about your pals being supportive about what you're doing, but obviously there is that side of sort of social media where not everyone's going to support you.
Oh, so, that's definitely that side.
I mean, I think that was a couple of weeks ago. I'd seen something sort of, I wouldn't say it was negative. I mean, I think folk were just doing it for a laugh, but obviously we'll get your opinion on it. And it was the sing along if you think they're good looking.
Even, mate. Right? Yeah, you're talking about the one I'm in.
The one that you're in, aye.
But that video, man. Right, that video, there's two boys in it I'm good pals with. I'm palsy. Big Pappy, pals other way made it. Funny guy, he doesn't mean it in any like bad, like that was generally just patter. And then Jonathan, he's like one of my boys, but some of them never met some of the guys in my life, and some of them that I know I don't really agree with what they do. I'm not a negative guy. I don't spread bad messages, but there's some people that I know I don't agree with them, and I didn't want to be associated with that at all. Fucking hell, man, that video blew up. There's a girl who shared it actually. I ended up fucking quite bally with her. She's sound. She reacted to it and didn't sing at all. If you don't understand what the video is, it's a song, the lyrics that everyone knows, and sing along if you find these boys attractive, and then there's wee me. Fucking bullshit, man. Nobody sang for me either. But and she didn't sing, and I'm sitting there like, oh no, man, everybody thinks I'm a pure rocket now. And then like my mate's like, it's funny. I'm like, no, she's got like 2 million views. And it's over now. But some things that what you said about the negativity, it was used as a joke, but there's some comments that people were making, like, I don't let hate get to myself. Like, I've got to the point now where I know, like, see these people that are making hate comments, they're just, that's their life. They're content with staying doing that their whole life. That's them. Fair dues, whatever you want. I'll only react if someone's like right in my face. That's the only time I'd ever.
Well, it's half the time, mate. They don't even do it to your face because it's behind the screen.
You're gay. All right. Shagged your dad. Do you know what I mean? Fuck's sake, why did I say that? But no, like it's true. But you see these things and they'll say things. You're like, but I know that people let that get to them. So the comments people are making, you don't think that goes, but it does. It goes a long way because you'll sit there. Because I wasn't letting the hate get to me. What I was letting get to me was all these people seeing this, all these people thinking I'm someone I'm not, and that really stresses you out. Then I'm thinking, what if I was like properly weak-minded? Like you see the young kids like sadly like, taking their life and stuff like that because of less than that. It's horrible to see. Like it is not a nice thing, and it's something that I try and obviously take a cut to. But you're never going to be able to change that. But see if you can make the right steps to better yourself and better those around you, then that's sound. Like if you've got a group of pals and they're all saying this negative stuff. That's a message that I would say. Sometimes walking away from 10 people, being yourself is better than doing that. Like, so see if you're in a group of negativity, but you're positive yourself, a million times better.
Been there, mate.
It's definitely like it's a stage that you need to go through your life with. Like, I'm not saying that stages. I'm still very young. Like, do you know what I mean? Like we all are. But you realise that these things you shouldn't let get to you. So I've seen like girls stressing out because like, oh my god, she's so much prettier than me, this and that, like this, and then like, oh, my pals said this dress was ugly. I was like, oh, fuck your pals. Do you like that dress? Yeah, wear it. Do you know, like things like that are like people stressing out about confronting their friends about things. Or like, see if you need to like, if you feel bad about telling your friends something, they know your friend. Do you know what I mean? Or if they make you feel bad, they'll know. So mate, there's so many factors to it. I could go on and on and on, but mate, the side of that to TikTok, I've had some hate. I don't give hate back out, but there was a comment, this guy, I absolutely slaughtered him. I had to take the video down because I felt bad for the guy. He'd said something and I just rinsed him. A bit patter.
I think I seen that. It was a bit outdated opinion.
But they try to like use gay as an insult. Or like the one that was, mind I fucked my hair back. I looked like an absolute tadger, but I'm going to try this out. Look like a dick. But this guy commented on it and I just rinsed him a new one, man. And then I think what you seen was the old guy. There's a guy in his 40s commented, "Why are lads so gay nowadays?" And I was like, "Mate, I hope you don't have kids." Like the fact it's scary seeing some of the older generations still kind of like are still trying to get terms with like, being yourself.
I know.
Mate, that's the thing is like when I get hate, I'll not just sit there and be like, "Don't call me that." I'll give them patter back because I know at the end of the day they're saying it as a bit of patter. But if it's malicious, then I'm like, "Fuck you." Do you know what I mean? But it's something that I know I need to take. With love, you're always going to get hate. So.
Yeah. But that's the thing though, there's that fine line of being like, is it patter, is it hate? And some folk don't know how to draw a line
like,
on that.
I'm all good for patter. Like my mates will rinse me a new one, then rip me a new one, then I'll give them it back. So that's your mates. But it gets to that point when someone repeatedly does it, you're like, shut up. It's a simple, just keep yourself to yourself, each their own. That's like what I follow quite a lot. But
for sure, mate, for sure.
Definitely, man. But aye.
Is there anything else you'd like to talk about us?
Mate, I don't shut up.
That's good, mate.
All sorts of things I could blather about, but nah, man, should be not too shabby.
You happy with that?
Aye, look, man, thank you very much for coming on because it's been a really good episode and you've been a pleasure to have on, mate.
Aye, pleasure to be here.
It's been a good laugh, eh? So, thank you very much.
See you later, guys.
Cheers.
All the best.